Hey, so here is one of my new pieces I recently colored. It's a ponytail wig. It's a custom color red that I just finished. She just finished drying last night, and I was starting to style her, and I thought, hey, perfect time to do an updated video. I haven't done one in a while. It's been kind of crazy around here. So one thing you want to do with ponytail wigs, let me start like from the drying process. So after I wash her, this is a custom extra small cap ponytail wig. So you have to be really careful how you dry them. You don't want to stretch out the lace. So even though this is a small 20-inch circumference head, it is still, this particular cap fits very snug on this, so we would never want to dry it on a mannequin head where it fits snug. So what I did is I lay it on a towel part of the time, and then you need the back to dry, and then I actually take this off. I put a towel on this and I gently rest it on top of this to get the back of the hair to dry. I try not to use a blow dryer unless it's just on the inside of the cap. Sometimes that helps, especially with comfort caps. Just don't have it like really hot heat. You never want really hot heat on any of your piece. So that's how I dried it, and it took about 24 hours to dry it. She's dry now, and I was beginning to style her, and I wanted to give you guys a little update on how I do that. So if you have a ponytail wig, you don't necessarily, if it fits snug on the mannequin head, you don't necessarily have to put pins everywhere, but one place you do have to put the pin is at the nape of the neck. So I just take my little pin, you stick it in the nape of the neck, and you can put it at the ear tabs, you can put it at the front of the wig, I guess, but it depends on where, because you never want to put it in the lace unless, like this one, the lace isn't cut. So if I needed to, I could put pins in this, but if the lace is cut, then you have to put it in the actual cap. Super important, because you will definitely get a hole in the lace. Never do that, all right? So again, she fits real snug, so I don't have to do that. I put a pin at the nape of the neck. And then this is like my ultimate, very favorite ever. It's a Kendra product. It is the Blow and Dry Spray Advanced Thermal Protection. I love this one because it's got a little bit of oil, but not like a heavy oil, a really nice moisturizing oil. So I spray this on, and it just makes it like buttery soft. And you want to do it a layer at a time. So you section off your wig and get some clips. They're super cheap. You can get them on Amazon or Sally's. Get yourself a little package of clips. And so pin her up, and I put it up in different layers, and you spray. This gets everywhere, so I've already sprayed her, so I'm not going to keep spraying her as I go, but because I already straightened this bottom part. But you want to put a towel underneath it, because this spray goes everywhere. Any of these sprays go everywhere, and then it gets all over your bathroom floor. All right, I have two different products that I use, two different devices I use. So devices, I can't even like talk today. This is a tool, not a device, a tool. So I'm using a Paul Mitchell. This is a Pro. Just, it's good to invest in a good one that's got like ceramic, or there are certain ones that protect the hair better than others. This one is up to 360. I don't recommend going above 320 unless you're going to go super fast. Always use your heat protectant and go quickly. Don't hold it. If you're going to hold it and actually make a curl, you're going to want your temperature to be more like 320, no more than 350. I know certain people always use 360, but those people they're more professionals. They're moving quickly. They're not letting it sit there and smoke on the hair. Now, sometimes if you have product in the hair and you use your tool and it's a little bit hotter, it'll smoke. It's not burning the hair. The smoke is not burning the hair. The smoke is the product burning off, okay? Here's another thing. Never, ever, ever curl your hair or do your hair when it's wet, slightly wet. You want it completely dry before you do it, okay? So I already did this. I'm just showing you how quickly I go through, because it is at 360. And you don't want to take smaller sections. If the sections are too big, you're not going to get the results that you want, okay? So that's that section. I got this off Amazon. It is kind of an expensive brush. It's a Brazil, I forgot the name of this. It's worn off because I've used it so much, but I love this brush. It's actually, if you want to know the products I use and the tools I use, go to I have two different sites. I have my website for the wigs I sell, and I have my blog. And the blog has got like lots of different information on how to buy and sell used wigs, on the products to use, on styling, resources for people who will like fix your caps and ventilate. I do a little ventilating, but I'm not an expert. So there are other people on my website that I'd refer you to. Some of my other favorite brands of wig makers, if you don't find what you're looking for on my site, some that I highly recommend, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I have a whole product list. And on my product list I'm pretty sure this brush is on there. Message me if not. But all the tools and products I use under the product page, and there's direct links to go to those different products. So, and if you have questions about the particular products that I do use different shampoos and conditioners on different hair types. I pretty much only use high-end European hair. Every once in a while, I might get a Brazilian, but pretty much all I use is the high-end fine textured European hair because I love it, because it's just gorgeous and silky and soft. All right, so you do want to brush it before you go through it. So there is that. Let me show you here. Take another section, because again, you don't want big, thick sections, so you just kind of section it off. And I did spray this. I might give it another quick little spray just to make sure that, and I don't have a towel down, which is like a no-no. Okay. And then you do want to make sure it's like nice and soft, so you brush it out real quick, that layer. And usually you can see the different layers as you go. You can see, okay, so this hasn't been straightened yet. You go way up at the top, you squeeze, you know, pretty firm. You don't have to get crazy firm. 1 or 2 passes is all you're gonna need, especially at 360. All right, so I will eventually put curls in this wig as well before I mail her out. I'm mailing her out today. So I will put some curls in her, but it's nice if it's freshly washed to straighten it. I find if you like a really kind of like a low density, very manageable, like this one definitely needs to be straightened, needs to be washed and straightened. But if you just like it really soft and kind of like the fine, more natural look, I think that it's nicer personally to do a flat iron before you curl it, especially if you've got Indian or Brazilian hair, because those tend to dry with a little more frizz. So if you want to get that frizz out, then you're going to want to use this. My European textured hair typically doesn't frizz as much, even when it's freshly washed, because that's just how European textured differs from Mongolian or, well, Mongolian dries pretty straight, but Brazilian or Cambodian or Indian hair, okay? So just different textured hairs. And I'm talking about the texture, not the where it's from. Just because it says European textured hair, it's not coming off somebody's head in Europe. It's talking about the texture of hair. That wigs are typically a combination of different kinds of hair, and they source them from all over the world. So if it says, you know, if it's from China, if it's from a vendor from China, it's not Chinese hair typically. It's sourced from all over the place. And so when they're talking about Mongolian hair, that's a texture of hair. It's talking about how thick the shafts are and the texture of hair, not its origin. Okay, so I want to say that so you guys, because that's a whole huge subject. And again, I already did spray this, so I'm not going to put a whole lot on there, but I'm just kind of showing you how I do it. You probably put a little more than I just put on there, but I don't have a towel down on my floor. I don't want to trash my floor. Also, I don't want to overdo it. You don't want to over product your hair. You don't want to put too much product on it. See how this is already still already super soft. It's because it's a European textured hair and it doesn't need more. My dog is wanting to come in now. He has to always always be with me. All right, so now, next, because I'm getting distracted, let's focus. This one really doesn't need a whole lot. The top dried a little bit poofier because it was kind of next to a towel. So this is the part that's really gonna need the straightening, but you can see even with this, how it's not too terribly frizzy. And then just brush that through. Again, I like these kind of brushes. Personally, I use tons of different kinds of brushes I use, but I really like that one for this process, for like smoothing it out. So that's basically all I'm doing right now, is taking any kind of frizz out, just kind of smoothing it out, and it just makes it lay a little flatter to your head, a little more natural. I feel like it makes it move more naturally when you have done the straightening on it. So again, and my temperature is at 360, moving quickly through the hair, small sections. This is a ponytail wig, custom ponytail wig. Colored this gorgeous red color. I had a inspiration photo and I think it matches pretty darn close, almost identically. And you always, if you're a redhead, you know these fade quickly, so it's better to go a little darker on the color that you're wanting to go for. And of course, use color safe shampoo. Use sunscreen in your hair if you're going to be out in the sun a lot, or you can even throw on a little hat that doesn't, really press your hair down, kind of a loose fitting hat, sun hat or something, to keep that sun off of it. Don't wash it, try not to wash it very much. Always use your heat protectant, all of those kind of things to help keep the color. Because for whatever reason, reds tend to fade really quickly. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm doing to this. I'm just finishing this top section. Hear my dog scratching. That's Mushu, my little Shih Tzu. And he's a little monster. He's a little bit grumpy. You can let him in. Hi, monster.
Do you have the camera facing that way?
No, it's facing right here. So.
Because if I open it and I saw you right there and then close it really quick, so I'm like, uh-oh. I don't want to do this.
Okay, can you go back out?
Yeah.
I was saying just let Mushu in. Thank you. And can you... No, Chloe, honey, I asked just Mushu. Can you take the rest of the dogs out? All right. I homeschool my kids, so they're always home. I can't really do videos without having a kid come in or a dog come in. 4 dogs, 2 kids, and a partridge in a pear tree. All right, so there she is, gorgeous, super, super soft. Now, if there's bumps on the top, then you can use a curling iron. I typically use a curling iron. Some people use a hot comb. That's more for a part, I feel, that you can definitely use a hot comb on this as well to get it a little bit smoother on top. And ponytail wigs, if you don't know, are sewn in a circle. Typical wefts on a wig are sewn across this way, all the way down, but ponytails are sewn in a circle, so they're meant to be worn up. This one, even though it's a ponytail wig, you can still wear this one down for the most part if you want, but see how there's that bump? That's what happens when you have a ponytail, a true ponytail wig. As they're sewn in the circle, they tend to have a little bump in the back. Some people wear them like that all the time and they don't care about the bump. Some wigs you see the bump more than others, but that is just something to think about. All right, so this one is at 360 right now, and I am just gonna smooth the top a little bit so it goes back in the ponytail a little easier. Again, you can use a hot comb. I think I have a hot comb on the product list on my website. You can get them very inexpensive. If you're new to wigs, please be careful with the hot combs because you don't want to fry your hair, okay? Because they tend to only have one temperature. I believe they only have one temperature. I hardly ever use my hot comb. It's just not something that I need to use with my European textured hair because they are, see how nice that goes? There's really no need for me to pull it out unless I'm really needing to change a part and I've got really poofy hair for some reason. Then I might use a hot comb, but this one I don't need to do that, okay? And then if I want to put curls in this, which I do, then I can go back all through and put it back up, okay? So it's easier, unless I'm doing just really loose, subtle curls. I typically put it up in layers and do it in layers. It just makes it easier because you want smaller sections. All right, now I'm turning it down to 320 because I'm going to put curls in it. I'm going to be leaving it in a little bit longer. So I would want that heat down a little bit. So you just wait a couple minutes, that heat's going to come down. Hold at the top, do a little curl, release, slide it down, twirl it again, release, slide it down to the end, release a little too much. Sometimes it slides right out at the bottom. So you can even hold the end, just don't burn yourself. Make sure that it doesn't slide out. Hold the thumb, turn, slide, turn, loosen, slide, turn, hold it for a couple of seconds. This is a 21 circumference. I believe this is 21 and it's long barrel. And it is on my website. You can typically find them on sale, either on Ulta Beauty, on Bionic, the Bionic website. Those are two places that you can find them. Try and get it under $120. Some places are more, they're like $160, but you can typically get them for $100 to $120 if you do your research and look. I have lots of tools. This is by far my favorite, and most of us, I shouldn't say most of us, a lot of us wig customizers out there, wig shops, use this exact curling iron. It's just the best. It slides really easily. I do have another pro one that was recommended from another wig shop. I like it, but it doesn't hold tightly down at this end. And so whenever you're sliding and you get down to this end, then it releases all the hair, and it's so annoying. You want to make sure that you have one that's tight all the way up to here that actually will hold the hair, because that's typically where the end of the hair is going to sit. All right, so I am curling this way until I get to the center. Now I'm basically to the center. You can go either direction at this point. I know I should have pulled up another layer. So now I'm having to go underneath, but. So now that I'm in the center, I could go this direction again. Or I can switch it back the other direction. I was lazy and didn't pull up, I didn't pull up that extra layer, so now I have to go underneath, which is kind of annoying. So now I'm going to go back this other direction. So I put it last time, I'm going that direction, I'm putting it up this way and turning. Now I'm going to go back the other direction because I always work towards the back. Unless you're doing like a fun butterfly cut styling and you blow dry that a little bit forward on the front ends. See, released it. And I'm better at one direction than the other. One of these, I can't remember which one. I think going this way is my difficult way. For some reason, I'm like dyslexic and my thumb just doesn't work as well. So you get the idea. I don't know. Maybe I'll fast forward through this part of the video so you guys can see me doing it, but you don't have to hear me talking unless I have something interesting to say. Not really. So with my website, I have a lot of the wigs that are currently ready to go on there. Primarily, I find myself doing a lot of custom orders. So if there is something on my website that is sold out, but that you want that, oh, I forgot to tell you my website. Got totally distracted on my website. I forgot to tell you my website and my shop, the difference. My website is themainspot.net and my wig shop is themainspot.store, right? So, but anyway, on my website, The Main Spot, M-A-N-E, themainspot.store, if you see something that's sold out, you can always custom order it for me and I can make it again. They're all custom orders, so it won't be exactly the same, but I can make it as close to it as possible. And you can always change, like I want, different kind of a cap or, of course, different length, different hairstyle, but you can get an idea of the color. If that's not what if there's nothing on there that's gonna work for you, you can send me a picture of what you want. I'll do my best to make it as close to that as possible. All right, so you do want to let that cool down a little bit, and then you just go through different sections. Do it through layers, otherwise you'll get too big of sections and whatnot, and then that gets annoying. All right, so you get the idea on how to do this. I think I'll maybe speed up. I can keep talking, I guess, right now, but I'll speed up so you don't have to hear me blabbering unless I have something interesting to say that I can teach you. What can I teach you? I don't know. When you wash your wigs, I haven't done a video. There's lots of videos out there on washing wigs. When you wash your wigs, I typically fill up my sink or a bucket with just warm water. You don't want to use hot water, but use warm water. I fill it up and then I put a squirt of shampoo in it. How much do I put? Maybe a tablespoon, depending on how much hair there is. You swish the water around with the shampoo in it, and then you put your wig in it, gently put it in, and keep the hair all going in one direction. You don't want to scrub your wig. You just want to set it in the water and swish it around, keeping the hair all nice in the same direction. And you can, kind of squish the inside of the cap and get the dirt out of that. If you're going to clean the lace, you want to be really, really careful. You don't scrub the lace. You can gently use your fingers to wash the lace to get the makeup out of it. There are different makeup cleaner, like there lace cleaners that you can use. You can also use just like baby shampoo or some of the shampoo that you're washing your wig with, just gently use that. You can use a really soft cloth if you want. I've heard of people using toothbrushes to scrub their lace. Lace frays. You got to be real careful. So if you're doing that, I would just be super careful if you're using a toothbrush and just like kind of go in one direction. I wouldn't be going back and forth on that lace. I would be really careful with it. I don't use the toothbrush on it. I use my fingers or a washcloth to clean the lace. So anyway, you swish your wig around. It takes like 3 minutes to wash it. Squishing, pulling your hands through the hair to get it to, the shampoo everywhere. And then you're gonna take it out of the water. You're gonna drain the water. And then make sure you hold the cap, don't hold the lace, but hold like right underneath the lace, and let the water wash through it, and just wash through all the hair. Keep it going in the same direction down from the cap. And you turn it, you know, you can get the water on the inside of the cap and just kind of squeeze the inside of the cap to get all the shampoo out of the inside of the cap. Let the water run over the lace, and you're using lukewarm water to do that. So once you've kind of, and you, after it rinses out, you just kind of squeeze the water out. You can squeeze the cap, gently squeeze the cap and squeeze the water out. Rinse it again. Once it feels like all the shampoo's out of it, then you're going to refill the sink with lukewarm water. And you don't have to fill the sink very full, you know, just fill it like that full. And then you put a good tablespoon or more of conditioner in, and you swish it around, get it all in there, swished around in the water. Then you gently place your wig back in, and you can put the whole wig in. It's if the knots are tied correctly, just putting it in the conditioner should not make the knots come undone. If you're experiencing a lot of shedding, or you feel like the hand tied part is kind of like in a fragile way and might come out, then maybe don't put the lace part into the water. Some people say never put the lace that's hand tied in the water. You can do it, and you don't want it to get dry, you know, because you don't get natural oils like you do on your scalp into the hair. So you do need to get some moisture up there. So I do soak it a little bit in there. You just want to wash it really well afterwards. But anyway, you put it in there, you kind of swish it around, and then you can leave it in there for, 5-10 minutes to soak in the conditioner. And then you do the same process. You take it out and you let the water run through it. You hold the front top part of the cap, but don't hold on to the lace. You just want to really protect your lace. So scoop your hand underneath and hold the whole cap. Don't be holding onto the lace in case it stretches out or something. Just always err on caution with your lace. But then you let it swish out real well. I let the water run significantly over the lace, especially if I've been soaking it in the conditioner, just to make sure that there's no slippage of the knots or whatever. I let the water really run through all the lace part really well. And you don't have to be as intense about rinsing out the rest of the hair as you are with shampoo, because conditioner is good for your hair, right? I mean, it doesn't get natural oils from your head, so it's good to have moisture in there. So you do not need to be like super anal about getting every tiny little bit of conditioner out of it. Just rinse it fairly well. Rinse the inside of the cap and all that kind of stuff. And then you're gonna squeeze down. So you never want to scrub back and forth. You swish your wig and you run your hands through it in the direction that it goes. But you don't want to scrub up here, because that could make it knot up. And it's just not good for it. You don't scrub it like you scrub your scalp. Because some people are like, oh my goodness, my wig is ruined because it's all knotted up from the way you washed it. Well, you just got to be real careful and keep it always going in the same direction as how you had it. That didn't come out very well because I'm talking. What else? So then you squeeze it out really well, and then I take a towel and I hold the wig and I wrap it in the towel. So I have a hold of the wig, and then I put the towel around it and I squeeze it out, squeeze it down, and I turn my cap a little bit inside out and I squeeze the inside of the cap. I try and squeeze the excess water out of the inside of the cap. Oops, that fell. So I squeeze the water out, squeeze it out of the hair real well, and then I put in some after shampoo stuff, usually like a really good leave-in conditioner of some sort. I have so many I tend to use, but you want to use a good leave-in conditioner on it. That's too big of a section. See, it doesn't turn out as well if it's too big of a section. So see how I'm going this direction now? So anyway, you want to put in a good leave-in conditioner, gently brush it through. You can use a wide tooth comb or kind of like a wide tooth brush. You don't want to do a lot of brushing on wigs when they're wet, right? You just want to do enough to like get the conditioner through it, get any knots out. You don't want to overbrush it because it can cause breakage and shedding. Okay, so just a little bit of gentle brushing, get it all brushed out, and then you're gonna hang it to dry. Now, where are you gonna hang it to dry? There's a variety of different ways. You can use one of those wig racks that you can, a lot of people use the wig racks. I don't like the wig racks because the plastic part, they always have these little knobs on the top of it, and I feel like it pushes into the top of my cap, and I don't like that. So I don't use that. I either use a styrofoam head or a wig head like this to dry the top part of it. If it's the same size or smaller than the wig that I'm drying. If it's bigger than that, or I can't find one that's the same size or smaller, like with this one, then I don't dry it on the head. And I typically don't dry it completely on the head anyway, just because I don't want there to be any chance of stretching the wig, unless it's a wig that is too small for a customer and it needs to be stretched. And then that is a way you can stretch your wig out, is you get it wet, you put it on a head that's slightly bigger than the size of the cap, maybe the circumference that you want it to be, and then you can let it dry on that, and it can help stretch it out. But if you overstretch your lace, then it's real hard to get that fixed. You have to sew it or have it sewed. I mean, it's not that hard, but it has to be. It's going to have to be corrected, or it won't lay flat on your head. So anyway, you can lay it flat on a towel. Some people hang them up like with like hangers. I personally would never hang it on the front. I just won't do that. I know some people do. I don't do that. I'm terrified. I've had so many wigs, and brand new wigs, because I've been wearing wigs for years, where the lace doesn't lay, and it's brand new from their store, and the lace doesn't lay flat. Well, is it because they use those clips and hung them up like on a rack? You'll see brands that they'll have all their wigs hanging on a rack. Well, if they're hanging by this part, it's going to stretch out the lace. I know, because I have bought so many that's happened to, and then I've had to like have them fixed, or I couldn't wear them. And so I would say, if you're going to do that, hang it from the back of the cap. Fine to hang it that way if you want to. If you do hang it upside down, it's going to dry more poofy. So if you want more poof in your hair and it doesn't have enough poof, dry your wig upside down. You can turn it inside out. Some people do that. I don't do that. I lay a towel down. I make sure the hair is real nice and flat behind it. And then I lay it the cap side open, and that dries the inside of the cap. And then if the top of it needs to be dried, then I'll put it on a mannequin head, or hang it like I told you. Take this off, put it on something. If you don't have one of these, put it on something where you can gently rest it on top of it to dry the top of the hair. And it'll dry that way. You can use the styrofoam heads off of Amazon. I sell a lot of small, extra small and petite. That's kind of my specialty, because I have a really small head, and I know there's so many of us out there that we struggle to find wigs that fit us because of our tiny heads. And so that's kind of my niche. I sell all sizes, but that's kind of like what I specialize in. And so I've had to search high and low for mannequin heads that are 19, 20 inches. They're not easy to find. This one is a 20-inch head. I have several 21-inch heads, but if you're buying one on Amazon, make sure you can type in mannequin head like 20 inches or 19 inches. You might have one or two to choose from. Styrofoam heads typically come smaller. They're usually like 19, 20 inches. So that's a little easier to find them in the styrofoam, and you can buy them in like 3-packs. And that's how I store my wigs. A lot of times, if I'm wearing them regularly, are on the styrofoam heads or a mannequin head. I don't, again, use those plastic hangers. Another way that I store them is, if I'm not using the mannequin head, is to put it I take the tissue paper, and that's how they come if you buy it from me. I always have them stuffed with tissue paper, and that holds the shape of the head, the head shape. So you scrunch up a bunch of tissue paper and you put it on the inside of the cap, and then I'll just gently fold the hair around it, and then I have big Rubbermaids with drawers, and then I just put it in the Rubbermaid. So it's keeping the sun and heat and dust off of it. I have it on a low level in a drawer, so I can just open the drawer, and these are how I store my personal wigs. I open the drawer, I figure out which wig I'm gonna wear, I pull it out, it's got the styrofoam in it. You can, if you want to kind of keep the shape, you can also put a hairnet over it. I don't typically do that, I just put it in there. You can also put it in a silk bag with the with the tissue paper in it. But if you do that, a lot of times it crumples it, and then you're gonna have to restyle it. I like to not have to restyle my wigs, so I just gently lay them in there. Sometimes they need a tiny bit of styling, but typically I don't do anything. I just pop it on, and once it's styled, after I wash it, I don't have to style it again typically until I wash it again. Or maybe like this one needs some curl, she needs to be washed. Throw a few curls in it real quick. And I just do that on my head. I just I'm like, okay, let's do a little curl. And I put a little wave in her. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. And that's it. That's all I do to my wigs. So those are ways to store it. But if you do have a tiny head, I recommend getting on Amazon and trying to find yourself some small mannequin heads for drying and for storing. And that way, if you're gonna make the investment to buy yourself a $1,000 to $2,000 wig, sometimes you can get them secondhand under $1,000, but most wigs, the ones that I purchase are close to $1,000 and more, and that's just from the vendor before it's even been customized, So if you're gonna spend that kind of money on a wig, you're gonna wanna take care of it so it lasts a really long time. Here's another thing. People are like, oh, how long is my wig gonna last? Is it gonna last a year? Is it gonna last 2 years? Well, that all depends on how much you wear it and how you take care of it. This wig is 3 years old, at least. I have wigs that are 4 or 5 years old, and they look basically brand new. I try to not wear them much. If you can afford it, get yourself more than one wig so you can alternate wigs and you don't wear the exact same wig every day. That's a good way to, if you have, let's say you buy one precious, really expensive wig off a wig site, and then that's kind of like your precious, and you want to be able to have something to go exercise in or wear to run errands or whatever, then buy yourself a used wig. Some people get synthetic wigs, and so you're not wearing your nice wig all the time, especially on your days off or whatever. And then your nice wig lasts longer. So, all right, so she's curled. So the only thing I have to do now is put her up in a pony tie, okay? And then when you get them up in the pony tie, it's good to have, let me get my brush, hang on. All right. Get her up. My ponytail wigs always have baby hairs, so I like to use a brush like this to brush out the baby hairs. So once it's up in the pony tie, I'm not quite ready to put her up yet because I'm going to take some pictures of her for my client. And there's a little extra that come down. Now you can either put these back up, or if you like having that much more, then you just use some scissors and you just kind of do a slide cut down and just cut yourself a few more baby hairs. Baby hairs are really easy to cut. Beginners, you guys can do it. You can, I promise you. You won't mess anything up. But so then no Violet, you brush your little baby hairs down. Here she is in the front. And then I'll curl her a little bit more in the front. See how there are all these baby hairs. And then I'll kind of style that a little bit more before I send her out. So that's it. That's your ponytail wig lesson. I don't have a hair tie right now, but once you get her put up, then you leave her up and you can use her day after day, you take her off the mannequin head. This is showing a little bit of the liner showing through because it's sliding back a little bit. But you can, once you finish wearing it, you just take it off your head and you put it back on the mannequin head. You don't even have to take the little hair tie out. Or, you know, you can wear it up in a big clip like this, like I just did. Super easy. See all those baby hairs? And if you don't have any hair like I don't, then you want these baby hairs. So it looks more natural, right? And you can always, like I said, you can always add more. So that is my ponytail lesson. Let me show you the inside of the cap of this one. With my wigs that I sell, you can have these added on any wig. This particular one I have, it's got silicone on the inside, so it helps it. So this is a, they call it a silk liner, but it's not like the thick silk. It's really a nice thin piece of silk, so it's very breathable, but it acts like a scar tape, so you don't have to use scar tape. It hides your hair. And then the silicone keeps it from slipping. So this one doesn't have any combs or clips in it. Again, it was a special order of a cap. She doesn't need the combs or clips, so it doesn't have combs or clips. And then it helps it from sliding down. If you did have hair, you can always add in the combs at the back. That helps it from not slipping up. What else? When you put these on, make sure when you put it on and you don't want to slide it back because it'll make the liner come forward. You always want to put it on and slide it forward, which will make this part go back. And make sure when you dry it and you put it on the mannequin heads, you don't put it on and slide it back because this liner can wrinkle forward. Okay, you don't want that. You want it to stay back. So you put it on the head and you slide it forward. Okay, put it on your own head. Ponytail wigs, you want to slide it forward. Other wigs that are just lace tops, you can slide them back. But these you want to slide forward with any of the liners so it doesn't crease that. So anyway, this is Laura. Her name is Laura. She's custom color and she's going out today. If you guys have any questions, remember you can email me at Lara, L-A-R-A, at the main spot, M-A-N-E, spot.store. That is my email address. So if you want to go to my my website to shop, it's themainspot.store. If you want to go and get extra resources and information, it's themainspot.net. So anyway, if you're seeing this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share my video. That'd be great because it helps others. And as always, if there's other videos that you want me to make, just let me know. All right, have a great day.